How are you doing, everybody? It's Techno Tenore here, and I wanted to start this video with saying that I officially swapped my GPU. Right here, I have an old RTX 2070 Super, still in pretty good condition. I replaced it with a 4070 Super because it was what I could realistically afford in, today's GPU market, which has been nothing short of a disaster. The RTX 50 series graphics cards have been such a disastrous launch for Nvidia and, the PC gaming industry as a whole. And it only gets worse from here because the 70 class cards are coming out with their 5070 Ti and 5070 cards. And these cards are already going above the initial MSRP. So I'm going to look up the MSRP here. RTX 50 series MSRP. I'll just get like an image of that, famous screenshot. Really quick here. Here, it's on Reddit. But yes, we had the 5090 at 2,000 smackaroos, currently going for $6,000 at, like, honestly, probably the lowest on places like eBay. You have the 5080 at $999, which has been, part of different bundle deals online for increased prices on places like Newegg, but even sometimes without bundles being around $1,400. And the 5070 Ti, the GPU in question today, has an MSRP of $749.99. And that is all well and good, but this is 2025 where the economy is absolute dog shit, and we are continuing to see the continuous low stock of GPUs, high demand, and people scalping these things that, sure, there might be an initial launch of MSRP GPUs, but you'll eventually see a lot of those on eBay or other places like Facebook Marketplace, and you will not see them at MSRP. But here's the kicker with the 5070 Ti. It's not even out yet. The reviews are in for the RTX 5070 Ti, and Tom's Hardware here says, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5070 Ti review, a proper high-end GPU if you can find it at MSRP. The reviews are in, and this has been an absolute disaster for NVIDIA and, for PC gamers as a whole who want to upgrade their rig. I was originally going to go with the 5070 Ti, but it has been such a disaster, this GPU launch, that I decided to preemptively get a 4070 of some type. I did want the Ti Super, but unfortunately I couldn't get my hands on it. I got a 4070 Super. I actually have the Asus Prime version, the one that most reviewers got of the 5070 Ti. And, I would have loved to have 16 gigabytes of VRAM, but as this GPU launch gets worse and worse, I am regretting my purchase less and less. And frankly, I think it is going to be a good investment in the coming months that I don't have to go out and bust my tail to find a GPU at MSRP or bust my wallet to pay an exorbitant price, even from the manufacturers. And that information actually comes from Jay's 2 Cents, a PC YouTube channel where they review different products and PC parts and PC components. And he sort of kind of whistleblowed this, this GPU fiasco.
So I'm irritated.
And we're going to react to it right now. I think it would probably be appropriate to, react to it thoroughly, because as much as I know that a lot of retailers are listing it, I want to get it from Jay's mouth. And Jay's 2 Cents is a great channel. They make great videos and they review a lot of content. So when we're going over this, I'm going to pause every once in a while and, we're going to talk about it. So without further ado, take it away, Jay.
Just like all of you, I'm sure, I'm actually going to be violating my NDA a little bit in this video. Don't know what's going to come of that. I'll be honest, I kind of don't care at this point.
Pretty ballsy to, defy your NDA. So honestly, huge props on that. Go subscribe to Jay's 2 cents if you don't know his channel already. Obviously, he's a much bigger channel than me, but if, you're interested in PC hardware and you want some more, good faith and honest reviews of PC parts, I definitely recommend Jay's 2 cents. Gamers Nexus is also a good one, but, pretty
5070
ballsy.
Ti pricing has kind of been shown early. Micro Center has it all up on their site. I want to talk about the pricing. I want to talk about things to consider if you're going to try and go and stand in line. I guess you'd already be standing in line at this point if you're going to try and get one. Yeah, it's just a big show. So here we go. Today's video is brought to you by the new, really super cool Jay's 2 cents melty connector shirt. Paying tribute to one of the best designs that's clearly ever existed. And if you don't like the vaporwave colors, we've got our OG grade red colors available now. So
that is a cool
by
looking
following the
shirt,
link.
actually.
Nice. Ow.
Hold on. Let me lower the volume a little bit. I'm not sure if it's too loud, but that is a cool looking shirt. I'll let him play his ad. But yeah, it's already up on Micro Center. We'll take a look at that in a minute.
Thigh cramp. Okay, so Micro Center has their pricing up for, I should paraphrase, not paraphrase, but I should be careful. It's not their pricing. Gigabyte, PNY, Asus, they set their own pricing independent from what NVIDIA sets. So for instance,
So with the GPUs, NVIDIA isn't the only one that makes the cards. Like, they have their Founders Edition, but for example, this is a Zotac 2070 Super, and, I've had this thing for 5 years, and it's been sitting in my computer for 5 years. It honestly still looks great. It looks great. Even then, it ran great. It's just I knew it was going to start showing its age with a lot of the stuff that I've been running, so that's why I want to get a new one. But, anywho.
NVIDIA set an MSRP of $750, and that's what the Founders Edition costs. But every other card is going to be that much or more. You guys know how it works by now. So it takes, everyone puts their...
Yeah, but like all these third-party part manufacturers make their own cards and, charge their own prices for them, but usually they don't, vary so widely like this. So we're going to see in a minute that, some of these listings on Micro Center and how wild the GPU situation really is.
Custom twist on building these cards. Apparently, if we look at this pricing, we sort by price, there's a range of $750 to $1,009, which...
Whoa. Thing is, I didn't even know it was that bad. I thought it was going to be like $900, but like these things are reaching $1,000.
Could you imagine spending $1,010, $1,999?
Wow, 1,010. Literally an RTX 5080. That's insane. Like, clearly this GPU launch has been an absolute disaster, but like I don't even think that the companies are the only ones to blame in this aspect, but we'll get to that in a minute.
A 70 tier card. That is insane. So the one thing I want to point out here as to like,
for a 70 tier card, this was in my pre-built. I bought that for like $1,200. So yeah, really think about it. Like, the GPU itself costing almost the same amount that I paid for my pre-built that I had recently upgraded.
How I'm going to sort of violate my embargo a little bit. We're not allowed to talk early about what card we have, what card we're testing, or confirmation we even have it. I don't care. This is the card that NVIDIA sent. This is the Asus 5070 Ti Prime. The reason why...
Oh, nice. I have the same one. But the 4070 Super variant.
NVIDIA sent this card is one, they don't have a Founders Edition card for 5070 Ti, which is really odd to me because they did for 30 series.
That is strange. They didn't send a Founders Edition. Like, God, the supply must be like super low, especially for this one. If reviewers can't even get Founders Editions.
And 40 series. Anyway, digressing a little bit here, they sent this card because it's MSRP, a $750 card. That's why we're going to be able to release the information on February 19th for the embargo, because of the fact that it is an MSRP card. Every other card...
That review actually came out today. The reviews did come out today. I might want to watch those at some point, maybe on stream at some point. I think that actually might be very interesting to actually take a look more in-depth at the reviews. But, right now we're just kind of addressing the current controversy of, these GPUs not even being out yet, and they're already well above MSRP.
If it's even like $1 more than $750, has to wait until the 20th, which is also the on-shelf date, and it even says it on the Micro Center website. But now I have to severely ask myself the question, how do I approach this review monetarily? And what I mean by that is all the numbers are going to be what they are. The FPS, the frame times, the power draw, all of that stuff. But value is the number one thing and the proposition people need to determine what card they're going to buy.
That's absolutely right. Like, the raw power isn't everything, especially in the GPU market where demand is so high and, stock and prices can just jump all over the place, that, getting the best performance per dollar is actually really important in something like this. It's not just like, oh, all these parts are available all the time and you can just find them anywhere. Especially nowadays, like, 2020 onward, the 30 series was also a disastrous launch, and this even more so. Like, they're literally dominoes of just, them being like knocked over entirely. Like, I kind of want to. Oh no, I'll probably make the thumbnail. I kind of want to do like the domino meme of just like the dominoes going down. It's just RTX 50 GPUs. Yeah, you'll probably see that on the video, but I think that'd be funny.
The reason why I'm a little TO'd at the moment, ticked off, you know what? I'm pissed off, I'm not ticked off, because this was sent to us as a
Talk to him.
retail MSRP
Let him cook.
$700 card. But if we look at Micro Center's website right now, and we find this exact same model, $899. That's a lot different than $750, which is the MSRP.
Wow, $150 more.
MSRP.
That's insane.
Now I don't know who to believe. So there's only
my 4070 Super I actually paid, I think it was $600 MSRP when it came out. I paid like $650. I actually got the GPU brand new on a place called Jawa, which is like a used PC part place. I think the person I bought it from, because it's like a marketplace where people can, like send their GPUs in for approval to be sold because it'll actually be legitimate. So that's why I trust Jawa a lot. They're not sponsored, but they're a really good site. So if you were looking for a GPU, definitely go on Jawa. But yeah, this was, I think like a PC building shop that had extra stock that they were trying to get rid of. So it was a brand new GPU in the box. Like the box was never opened. The wrap was still on the GPU. So I honestly made out like a bandit, to be perfectly honest, especially in this very volatile market we have today.
a couple ways I could see this having gone, specifically regarding why it shows $900 on Micro Center's website and NVIDIA telling us this is a $750 MSRP model. Scenario number one, NVIDIA and ASUS are in cahoots with that. I'm not so sure that that's realistic, but that's an option. That's a way people could perceive it, right? Scenario number two, the card is $750, and Micro Center is jacking the price up because of supply and demand. To understand marketing real quick, you have to, quick backstory. There's MSRP, SRP, and MAP. These are the three ways that you're going to hear about pricing. There is the manufacturer suggested retail price, which in this instance would kind of be like NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA sets like the base price, which is at that point going to be $750. And technically, people can go below that, but they can't advertise that because that's MAP, minimum advertised price. So MAP means $750. That's MAP. You can't go below that as advertised, but you can sell it for less than that, but you can't advertise it for less than that. And that's because of like fairness amongst the brands or whatever. But I think we can all agree at this point, there's no fairness for the consumer. There's only fairness amongst their own like good old boys like the old guard club, okay?
Ain't that the truth? Like, it's insane, like, that even though there's so many companies involved, the people that, are getting shafted the most are, us.
The other possibility, which could be a bit more realistic, ASUS tells NVIDIA this is our MSRP card. NVIDIA collects the cards, disperses them out amongst the media channels, us, Linus, Digital Foundry, Gamers Nexus, Hardware Unboxed, all those guys. But the price is really $900. That's a more realistic scenario. But I'm now really confused as to why we have this card and we're told to review it under the premise that it's $750 when clearly ASUS believes it to be a $900 graphics card. Now, when we talk about the model number, that's the only thing we have to kind of confirm whether or not it's the same card entirely. I believe the model number is shortened for probably SQL reasons on the Micro Center website, but the manufacturer part number says PRM 5070 Ti16G. I think that obviously stands for Prime 5070 Ti16G. Model number on here, Prime-RTX 5070 Ti-16G. So as far as I can tell, it is the exact same card. It's not an OC version. It's nothing like, even if it was just an OC difference, like a different BIOS, it's not $150 worth of BIOS, I can promise you that. So
this is the one case where they actually sent reviewers like something that was, similar to, because I think the reviewers, like, they don't get like a better performing version. They get like the reviewer version that like, is specifically like marked in the factory to go to reviewers and, journalists. But I'm going to leave this video right now because I kind of want to address the big elephant in the room that I wanted to talk about with these increasing GPU prices. And frankly, I think it's because of the tariffs. Now, this is going to get political. Obviously, I don't like Donald Trump. I don't like this administration. It's crooked. It's corrupt. It's awful. And these tariffs have been proven time and time again to be an absolutely terrible, awful idea. And while these tariffs aren't even, in yet, like in this article from Supply Chain Dive, the president suggested a 25% duty on those imports, and on Friday said auto tariffs could come as early as April 2nd. So April 2nd is when these tariffs are supposedly going to start. But I think these companies are preemptively, you know, increasing the prices so they don't have to later. Because imagine that these GPUs come out and that they are all MSRP, and then a couple months down the line, when people like see the reviews and it's been out for a bit and all the things are ironed out, that people are going to go buy it and they're going to be like, what the fuck? Like, these GPUs are like $150 to like $250 more expensive. What's going on? And obviously they want to get ahead of that. And sure, is the tariffs entirely the blame? No. The company has some sort of hand in increasing the prices because they're the ones that chose to do it. And obviously, in this capitalist society, we have to make a profit. It's just, companies, have to make profit. Like, they make profit. And that's an important thing to them. So, no shit. But I see this more and more that, like, particularly tech companies are like getting out ahead of these incoming tariffs on particularly chips from Taiwan, because, Taiwan's connection with China, even though, Taiwan says they're relatively independent, and then China's like, oh, Taiwan isn't a country. It's part of China. I remember like John Cena getting in like hot water about that, saying that Taiwan was a country, and then, China got really pissy with him and he had to apologize. But yeah, this is insane because we see so many of these companies, particularly in the tech sector with these chips, that they're kind of getting ahead of these incoming tariffs to increase prices of their products, and it's going to impact a lot of things. And I've seen it with other companies too, even with their services. We're actually going to go over tomorrow. Nintendo is shutting down their reward service and shutting down their voucher service for Switch Online members, where, you can get good deals on games. You could literally buy an $100 voucher thing where you can buy 2 games with it and like save like $20. Personally, I'm going to go into bigger detail on it, that they're trying to get ahead of these tariffs because the Switch 2 is probably going to be sold at a lesser profit margin. And as a result, they need to make up that profit somehow. And they're going to, renege on some of the deals for their software for the consumers. And, a lot of that is speculation and theory on my part, but it could be for a completely different reason. But from everything that I've seen, like the timing of this and, everything involved with, manufacturing and supply chain and everything else and tariffs and all this, like, it's plausible. It's certainly plausible. And, I don't fucking like it one bit. And it's the biggest show of cognitive dissonance of the Trump administration when these tariffs are supposed to help American manufacturing. But on that same note, they will go after things like the CHIPS Act, which was supposed to bring back manufacturing. Okay, good. I got ahead of that before the copyrighted music played. That they're against things like the CHIPS Act, which was supposed to bring chip factories to America, so, manufacturing can happen here. And sure, the tariffs, some level of tariff could have helped, encourage people even here to buy American and encourage companies to, ramp up their manufacturing. But we got nowhere close to even starting, the infrastructure for the manufacturing, which is insane. So you have this administration that is pro-tariff that wants countries to pay extra money to import their stuff. And that gets passed on to the consumer. It gets passed on to manufacturers that purchase things from like China, like whether it's like blank shirts or like anything like that, where like maybe they put their logo on it, and it's getting passed on to the consumer. It's getting passed on to even smaller companies as well when they buy things in bulk to, manufacture here. It's absolutely insane. And the cognitive dissonance of all this, you have someone like Trump going on Joe Rogan. This is actually back when, he had the interview with Joe Rogan during the election cycle. He said, that chip deal is so bad. And I don't get it. Make it make sense. The cognitive dissonance of, this administration when it comes to tariffs is insane, because they say, oh, we want to bolster American manufacturing, but you know, especially when it's things like chips, pharmaceuticals, and all these other things, we do not have the infrastructure yet. They literally put the cart before the horse, and they're just expecting it to happen. And it's insane. Like, it's just absolutely insane. And we see it more and more, not even just with like physical products, but services from technology companies, gaming companies, and like people that, you know, make technology products, that they're going to start reneging on services like Nintendo has done recently. And we're going to talk about that more tomorrow. But it's just absolutely insane how cognitively dissonant this administration is with, you know, the needs of the economy and the needs of, you know, people buying products, even if it's just for something like gaming on a computer. It's insane. And, you know, we're going to see more and more of that as time goes on. And, you know, ironically, the, you know, the grifters out there that are trying to save gaming by, you know, being alt-right grifters, like, inadvertently voted for an administration that is, you know, making our hobby, making our passion, like, significantly more expensive and needlessly complicated with these tariffs. And I want that to sink in for people watching this. Whether you're here to hate on me, whether you're here to actually understand that, like, the like, it's cognitive dissonance. Like, I've overused that word so much, but it's like peak cognitive dissonance where, you know, you are saying you want this to be better, but you're inadvertently making it worse because, you know, even when it shows you right in front of your face that something like the CHIPS Act is actually going to help American manufacturing, for some reason you're against it, but then at the same time want to do something that helps American manufacturing through tariffs. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on this. Make it make goddamn sense. This doesn't make any fucking sense. And all these frickin', like, you know, gooners, chuds, and grifters, like, inadvertently, you know, decided to, you know, vote for a guy that inadvertently made their hobby worse. It's insane.